STEM Stories with Mr. Ewing. You know, our precious waterways, our oceans, are under attack. 71% of the Earth's surface is water. That means only 1/3 of the Earth's surface is all the other habitats or land masses on Earth. 71% is covered in water. It's amazing. And then a lot of people talk about space, our universe, our giant universe around us is our final frontier, the places that we've yet discovered. But only 5% of our entire oceans have been explored. That means 95% of the ocean has yet to be explored. Part of that has to do with not only the depth, but the pressure of the water as you go deeper builds, and we have yet to discover machines or submarines that can actually go down far enough, and then once they're down there, there's no light. So there's a lot of factors that we're still working on, and every year we get more and more qualified and educated in how we can do this, but we're still only 5%. That's crazy. And if you think about the magnificence of the water that we have yet to explore, it still blows my mind of the things that we will yet to discover down there, because what we have is just richly beautiful, but just filled with all kinds of things and information. So with so little of the ocean explored, not knowing everything that's down there, the riches to be had, of the amount of knowledge to be gained, you would think as humans we would work to take better care of it, but we don't. And not every country in the world actually sets up protection laws that protect the waters, and we all kind of treat it differently, which is still pretty amazing. And a lot of our oceans are getting littered with a tremendous amount of garbage and trash and pollution and toxins, to a point where it's actually becoming a global problem, than one that we're actually now trying to figure out how do we fix what we've already damaged, and what trash and everything that gets dumped out in the ocean ends up on our beaches and everything as well. So not only are our waters becoming polluted, but then it washes back into the earth and is polluted. But so why not just go out and clean it up? It really can't be that big of a mess. Well, it actually is. And one of the worst places in all of our oceans is actually something called the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Now, there are 5 major garbage patches in different oceans around the world, but the biggest being the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Now, to put that into perspective, it is this big, giant, almost like an island floating in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It's an estimated that it's, 1.15 to 2.41 million tons of plastics are entering into our ocean every year through rivers. And a lot of that actually is stuff that actually is thrown on the ground thinking, who cares about that? It'll get picked up, it'll get put in a trash can. A lot of it goes into our waterways. And remember, plastic floats. So it goes into our water, floats along the surface, and that's what actually is creating the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Now covering a surface area of 1.6 million square kilometers, an area twice the size of Texas, or the size of, 3 times the size of France. So if you look at this circled area with the arrow, that actually is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, and that's floating in the water. Now, if you take the size of our state of Texas and double that, that's the size of the actual mass of floating trash and plastics. And it's not just about our water being polluted. Our fish and wildlife and turtles actually eat plastic because they think it smells good, and then it either doesn't digest and clogs their system, or they choke on it, and that can kill them. Now, What does that have to do with us? Well, we're the problem. So I want to challenge you to go out and think about what you're doing with plastics. What can we do without it? It's one of the reasons we're getting rid of the plastic bags at the grocery store. And a lot of people think, oh, well, I'll reuse it. I take it home and I put other things in it, or I use them as doggy bags. Well, they still end up in the trash heap, and plastic doesn't break down. We also use plastic bottles. Think about other ways that we could carry water around that isn't a plastic bottle. So next time you're out and you're buying something, think about, do you really need to buy something that's in plastic? What can we do to change our world so that, we're not adding to a big problem of plastics ending up in our water and polluting one of the biggest untapped resources that we don't even know about because we haven't explored it. So I want you to go out, think about what you use in your house and around your community, and think about what changes can we make that can actually do something about this.